Hey y'all, what is up? Lauren Duroy coming back at you. And today, do not listen to this podcast. I repeat, do not listen to this podcast if you aren't ready to be transformed today. Oh, come on, somebody. I'm about to set some people free because I am on fire right now. I am on fire to see some lives changed. I'm on fire to see some people break through some barriers, but I'm going to be honest with you. Most people are not comfortable with actually doing that. They are not comfortable with actually hearing a message from somebody and actually accepting it. Majority of people are going to hear the things that I'm going to say today, and they're either going to be offended or they're going to say, yeah, but that doesn't fit for me. So you have permission to feel that way. You have permission to accept that if you are making over $30,000 a month, working 40 to 60 hours a month. If you're already doing that, then you have permission to feel that way and to completely say everything that I'm saying is hogwash. I'm not going to follow it. I'm not going to believe it. If you aren't in that situation, and if you haven't been in that situation and holding that situation for a while, I would encourage you, and you want it. If you don't want it, then don't listen to this either. Like, this is 100% for people who actually want, who are not in that position. They want to change their life in that way. And I'm going to help you do that today. So if you want that position, you're not in that position, and you are okay with getting a little bit uncomfortable. It's just you and me right now. It's just me and you in the podcast. But I'm going to be really, really real, and I'm going to challenge you with this, okay? Because the thing is I was driving today, and oh, guys, I just thought about all of the reasons why I have a firm belief. You can go toe to toe with me if you don't believe this. I have a firm belief that those such as nurses, those such as nurse practitioners, those who are front line of healthcare should be the most financially free individuals out there. Why would I say that? Because we have sacrificed our life, our well-being, our mental health on more than one occasion, our physical health to save others. All of us have been there before. Most all, I guess I shouldn't say all. I mean, you still be a nurse or practitioner, that doesn't fit you. But majority of us have done that at some point in our life. We sacrificed, no, you all did, because you at least sacrificed years of your life to get that degree. Watching other people go out, have fun, maybe start lives, do all of the things, and then we waited till later in life, or we sacrificed time whenever life went ahead and happened anyhow. You had kids, you still went through school, all of the things. I'm here to salute you. I am here to praise you, but I'm also here to help you realize that if you aren't living a life of abundance, you should. You should. Why? Because other people are. Because people who are less qualified than you are already doing that. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I say less qualified, and truthfully, they're not. Like, health coaches make a huge impact. I now coach some amazing health coaches that I foot goes into mouth, because I used to say I won't coach health coaches. They don't understand all those things. And we have now opened up a branch for that in our functional trainings. And ladies and gentlemen, they're closing $6,000 tickets. Somebody say $6,000 paid in full. Here you go, from small town America. And it's truthfully happening today as I do this podcast on July 29th of 2024. So there are people who have that dream, and you can have it too. But they are more qualified if you aren't doing it. Why are they more qualified? Because they're actually doing it. Because they're putting themselves out there every single day. They're putting offers out there. They are building programs. They're changing lives. And if you aren't putting out an offer every single day, then I am sorry, friend. They are more qualified than you because they're actually doing the work. But there are 4 things. I started out with just 3, and there's 4. There are 4 reasons why majority of nurses and nurse practitioners will never get onto even the highway headed towards becoming a millionaire, because they won't break through these 4 barriers. This is going to be some hard, tough love for you, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it because honestly, it makes me upset. There is so much abundance in the world. Somebody say abundance. How many of you know that if you just change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change? That's not me, that's Wayne Dyer. But that quote changed my life. If you've heard me speak on stage in some of my keynotes, I really share in depth about that. And that that was a godsend moment. And, during that time, the Lord, If you're watching live, you get to see Jagger here, my bunny. Woo, woo. I know a bunny. We'll talk. That's a thing for another episode. If he starts chewing on my couch, though, you're going to see me pause, and you may about to see me pause. But I share about Wayne Dyer. That quote was given to me by the Lord. I believe the Lord put that in front of me at the perfect time. I was sitting in front of a computer screen, charting my rear off at 7:30 p.m., knowing that my family was probably eating dinner or had already eaten dinner, and my son was going to go in bed in 30 minutes. I was again not going to be able to see my son other than kiss him goodnight. I was in pain. I was bitter. I was mad. I had already sacrificed a lot of my life. I had already sacrificed those young 20s, those mid 20s, and those older 20s to go through extra degrees, somebody say extra loans, just so I can have a life that I was proud of and be able to do something I'm passionate about and be able to help and change and save lives, not really realizing that honestly, I didn't want to be set up for a life of raising a child without a mother there every night. I didn't want that. I knew that wasn't from the Lord. And that was my first reason why I went ahead and made the jump. And I started to become an entrepreneur, like a real entrepreneur, right? Because I knew that wasn't from the Lord. I knew that it was not from the Lord, me not seeing my family, me being like mentally strung out, stressed out, not being able to focus, feeling shame for the negative thoughts I'd have in my mind. I'd usually keep them in my mind, but I'll be honest with you, I felt negative. I was like, why, I'm just gonna be real with you. I'm just gonna be really real with you. These are the things I thought. Why does my husband get to go home and see our child at 5 o'clock? Why can't I be the one to do that? Why do other people get to, come in late and then thank me so much, but then I get to stay another hour after they leave because I have to do all these things, order all these things, or check the labs from the other people before they did the same thing to me the other night before, and they get to go home with their family. And I got a really nice thank you, but honestly, I'm bitter about this. I'm being real with you. I'm human, because I knew that was not from God. Right? If there was not another child, if there was not a child's life, my son's life, hanging on the edge of that, then I probably would have continued to just self-sacrifice myself for almost ever. But I felt a lot of shame and a lot of guilt for not being the mother that I knew that I needed to be for this little boy growing up. And now, in my second son, I said, something's going to change. Something is going to change. How many of you know that it was not the right time for me to invest in something? How many of you know it was not the right time for me to change something? Quote unquote, by the worldly standards. But that's one of the things we're going to talk about. So the 4 things that hold people back is 1, overthinking. 100% overthinking. We're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into the perception of time, the illusion, the lies around time that you've been sold and told and have borrowed your life and your soul for somebody else's gain. I'm going to talk to you about those today. I'm going to talk to you about the scarcity mindset. It's something that honestly, I still fight with this one on a regular basis. It is hard, but I'm going to give you tips. I'm going to give you tricks. I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of people that live an abundant lifestyle. Why is that? Because that's what they expect. Because you don't attract what you want. Write this down. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you're living in a limited mindset, you're going to bring limitations to you. It is just 100% the truth. Why did I spend $10,000 on one weekend before on a business weekend? Where it's 2 days of teaching, $10,000 to be there, plus the travel, plus paying for a babysitter because I had a young child at that time, right? Why did I do that? Well, one of the reasons is because I need to get rid of my scarcity mindset. I needed to prove myself that $10,000 is just $10,000 out and I'll make it right back. And guess what happened? I made $30,000 right back. Okay? I don't share that. None of this is to brag. I promise you none of this is to brag. This is to share with you, there are better ways of thinking about things. And like I said, you don't have to adopt these beliefs. You don't have to take them on. If you're already hitting your goals in life, just turn this podcast off. This is not for you. If you're not quite there yet, I'm going to try to break your brain a little bit. That's one of the things that I love doing, is trying to break your brain. Because when my brain broke, my life changed. Chains broke at the same time. And the last one is fear of sales. I don't know where we're going to go first on these, but these are the things that literally hold people back. Why do I have to hold them back? I know that these hold some people back because I see it happen all the time. I see it happen on a regular basis. I see this every time I speak. I don't even have to be talking to them about this. And I can tell by the way they view things, by the way they look at things, by their bitterness, by their resentment, that they still adopt these belief systems. And there's no judgment here. I used to also. So let's dive into the first one, which is overthinking. Okay. Overthinking. Let's go into that first, because here's the beautiful thing. And they're going to coincide, but I'm going to tell you that these are the four main things. The four main things I see people do. One, they overthink. They think, okay, so if I'm going to do something, it has to be the right thing. It has to be the right time. It has to be that, everything is ticking out. I have to hear the audible words of God in order to know that this is the right thing to do. Most of us have not and did not. This does happen, and I believe people's testimonies when it happens. But most of us did not hear God's word when they said to go into nursing or to go into become a nurse practitioner or anything like that. As a matter of fact, majority of us kind of regretted it. Like, why did I do that? Maybe it was just myself pushing that, But they overthink it. They'll think, well, does it make sense? Do I have enough money for this? Is it the right time? What if there's a better time? What if there's a better program? What if there's all of these other things? What if I have this vacation that's overlapping? Or what if I have a baby on the way? I've seen people let that stop them. Guys, the reasons why you're stopping yourself are most likely the reasons why you should do it. If it's time, not having enough, if it's not enough money, whatever it is, that's probably why you should be doing the change. I was pregnant whenever I invested in my coach. I signed the dotted line for $18,000 to hand over to her so she could teach me how to hit 10K months. And it happened within 3 months. And how many of you know that I have coaches who are doing that in less time? Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. That's leverage, right? I got a refined system for her. I refined it more. Others have an even more refined system. Whenever I decided, somebody say decided. That's your first step, decide. That was my first step. Didn't know that's what I was doing. That's exactly what I did. I decided that I was going to make this happen. Did the thoughts run through my mind of, hey, what if I don't have the money to pay her next month? Because I went on a payment plan. Did I have $18,000? Absolutely not. But Discover said that I did. It said that I had, I think it was a little bit over the first payment of $1,500. It was a little bit more than that. And I thought, okay, I have enough for this. And then, Crotola hits a fan and I have to buy something else. One other emergency thing comes up. I'm good for this month. And I just got to figure it out from there. Because I had enough for the Discover said that I had enough. And I literally did it so that I could not overthink it. I wanted it. I decided that that's what I want.
Hey friends, are you thinking, Lauren, I really actually want this? I honestly, really, truthfully do. I just don't know where to get started. I am terrified of investing right now, maybe down the road, but I would really love to lock arms with some incredible people who are also doing this, or at least have this dream, and just kind of be a part of a team. Well, guess what? A really awesome offer for you. So for free for 7 days, you can try our community. It's brand new. It has incredible courses in it for time hacking, for decreasing stress, for helping you get that confidence you need. Also a lot of functional medicine. There's just a lot of really great things in there, and it's all included. And it's only $17 a month right now. So we have a great introduction price. It's 80% off of what it's going to be in the near future. So you can lock that in for life. I mean, that's literally just that's hardly anything to be able to, a few cents a day, to join an amazing group of people. Jump in with us.
And I knew that what I was doing was not going to get me there. I knew to make that much money, I would have had taken on 2 jobs. So needless to say, there were not enough hours in the day for me to make that much money as a nurse practitioner. Okay, now I will not accept anything, which I don't work for anyone for salary anymore. But if I were to ever go back, they couldn't. As a matter of fact, I've had people come back to me and I've said, okay, this is my hourly. And they said no. And I said, I knew you would say that, but I told you from the beginning you can't buy me. The hospital tried to call me back. And I was like, nope, you can't buy me back. And well, just give us a number. And I'm like, this is the number. And they said, okay. They didn't say anything. They didn't respond at all. But was it the right time for me? Absolutely not. It was not the right time. But I knew that nothing would change if I didn't change something. That much I knew. I was not guaranteed to make money with her. I was not guaranteed that whenever I bought the system for her, that it was going to quote unquote work. It was proven to have worked for others, but I had to work it. Right? And there was no guarantee that I was going to work it. Did I think about, is this the right thing for me? Is this what I want to do? Is the system, am I going to be doing, the only thing that I did tell her is that I cannot do spamming DMs. If this has to do with sending people a whole bunch of like DMs and the messages, I physically can't. I know you can't tell me your system, but is it that? And she said no. And I said, okay, cool. Like anything else I can do, right? I did have a limitation. I'll be really honest with you. I had that limitation. I was like, I'm not going to spam people. It doesn't work. Then the reason why I was like, I'm not going to do that is one, because I'm tired of feeling slimy, but two, because I was an MLM before that. But two, also, I knew that did not work. So I just wanted to make sure like that was not what she was telling me, right? And so she said it wasn't. I said, okay, cool, I'm in. Did I ask her, well, am I going to be comfortable doing this? Is this going to be something that I'll feel good about doing, that I'll want to do? No, it wasn't about that. I didn't overthink that. I thought about what my goal was. She said she had the roadmap to get to that, the blueprint, if you will. And then if I followed her, that's what would take me there. And I said, okay, cool, let's go. Right? I said, take my card. I was terrified. Okay, I was terrified. Did God audibly tell me to go? No. But I knew that where I was at was not that. Did I think about all these other things? Some of those things that I mentioned, yes, I thought about, but I was like, it doesn't matter. My goal is to get from point A to point B. She says she knows how to do that. I don't know how to do that yet because I can't figure it out. I tried a whole bunch of free resources. I tried a whole bunch of following other people, creeping other people, figuring out what they're doing. It wasn't working. It wasn't clicking. I didn't actually understand the fabrics of it. It's like I was trying to take apart like this beautiful cake that, this person makes and tastes delicious all at the same time. And I'm like taking apart this cake, trying to figure out like, how do they make this cake? Well, you can't tell. Like, I have no idea. You can't actually break it down that way. You would maybe think you can, but you can't whenever it comes down to following a business plan. So she said she knew how to do it. She told me she would share with everything that she had, everything that she knows, and give that to me. And I said, let's go. Did I overthink other things and stop myself at times? Yes, I did. I have done that before. But whenever I changed who I was, I changed the identity of who I was to somebody who was going to get there to a different place. I decided I don't care if this system takes 4 hours a day. I'll wake up 4 hours early. It doesn't. Disclaimer. I spend about 30 minutes, no less than 30 minutes to an hour a day, but usually around 1 to 2 hours a day, broken up into pockets when I was first picking it up and growing it. Weekends, a little bit more time, except for I take a Sabbath. So majority of the time, if not the time, I don't know. I don't want to lie to y'all, but it was about that time. I just decided like, no, like this is what I want. I want the outcome. The process I don't care about. Now, obviously, it wasn't going to be something that, like, if I felt bad about, there was something illegal, I was obviously not going to do that. But that was not the case. This is not the case. I did it. I absolutely did it. Were there parts that didn't really work out? Did I work at the time that this stopped so many people? And I love so many of you who listen, and I know that there's a lot of you who are listening to this and you hear it, and I love you all still just the same. But there's so many people that are like, oh, I can't. I work during that time. I work during your coaching live hours, so I can't make that. I will tell you that I work around people with that, and I add many more hours than most coaches do to their program so people can be a part of it and see me live. However, was that something? Hey. Stop. Was that something I was going to let get in my way? No, I was going to figure it out. I was like, oh, I worked during that time. And she just looked at me like, that's when the coaching call is. What did I do? I took PTOs. 1 hour a week during a certain time, did not book patients. It's going to get it done. Which brings me to my next point is that people will say, I don't have time. People will say, I don't have time to build my own business. I was working 60 hours a week. And let me tell you that I figured things out. Okay, I figured things out. Time hacked the cradola of my day, which is I also share with other people because I know that's a barrier for them. Time hacked the cradola out of my day so I could get it down a little bit more. I found pockets of time and I made those times work. We have this illusion to think that we don't have the time available to us, when in reality, you have the same amount of time as people who have built multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses. You just aren't using what we call leverage. You aren't leveraging other sources. You aren't investing in your time. You aren't going from a mindset of just how do I get this done? Words are very important, not how can, how will. How will I get this done? How will I figure this out? Right? I did not have the time. I technically, on paper, did not have the time. But let me ask you this question. If you were to have, God forbid, a loved one pass tomorrow that is very close to you, would your schedule instantly clear up? 100% would. Let me ask you this. If you died tomorrow, would your schedule open up? Would you still be going to work every day? Would you still be doing those things that you are planning on doing? You would not. It is an illusion to say that you don't have the time. Why do I say that? Because what I started to do is I started to put my future before. We have been brainwashed to believe that my time is valuable only whenever I'm using it to build somebody else's business. Whenever I'm getting paid an hourly, and that time is only valuable during that. That is hogwash. Somebody say hogwash. And God forbid if you're listening to this while you're at work. Make sure you have your earpods in. I guess I should have given you the disclaimer, right? Because I know a lot of people go, Matt, multitask I did. I listened to podcasts. I listened to trainings while I was doing other things. Shout out to you. That's what you're doing right now. Be real with yourself. How will you open up time? Because why do we have this mindset? This is what drives me crazy. Thankfully, I don't have yet any regrets because I've always lived off of this montage of my time that is important for family, for things that actually matter. Not always have I always, whenever I made this mind shift, I should correct that. I think I said I always thought this way. I did not, 100% did not always think this way. But I do now. That's more important than somebody else getting their business stuff ticked off or anything. Honestly, like, don't get me wrong. I don't want to blurry the lines in saying that if you say you're going to be there for somebody, you should always be there. Like, that should be part of your values. You should base your actions based off of values. One of my values is I'm dependable and I'm honest. I live on that. And therefore, I just don't promise myself to anything more than I can actually deliver. And if somebody needs me to be there for them and I can 100%, I will. However, whenever my life starts going out of whack, I do not believe that my time is only valuable whenever it is building somebody else's. I don't think I'm giving this too much justice. Let me try this a little bit different angle here. Actually, the way that I learned this, I think was from Robert Kiyosaki, and he said, pay yourself first. And, he was talking about more in money, but for some reason in my mind, it translated in mind that I was like, I'm going to get done the things that I need to get done to change my life first. It's kind of like you need to, if you're in an airplane and you have children with you and the whole put the mask on yourself first, it's the same thing. I cannot keep going the way that I am. Therefore, I have to be able to figure out how to get oxygen to my future, to my life, or I'm not going to be there for other people anyhow. I was a hot mess telling my husband I'm about to have a breakdown. Like, we're about to not have my income because I'm about to have a breakdown. Someone say a breakdown. And I knew that and I legitimately, guys, it was really bad. It was really bad. I don't know if you've been there before. Probably have. If you're listening to this and you're a practitioner, like, yes, that's how I live my life. One breakdown at a time. I'm kind of kidding. But it was really bad. And I started to realize to pay myself first. This whole illusion that my time is only valuable if somebody else is paying me is hogwash. If you're building out your future, I knew that I needed to spend time building one thing, which I build multiple now, but building one thing that once it's built, it can keep on turning and kicking out more. It's like making your money work for you, right? Except I made my time work for me and my mind work for me, and then put it on evergreen, meaning other people can purchase these courses after I've built it and I got it all together. They can all purchase it. And then I run past it, and then getting into some paid traffic, those type of things. Like, you can start scaling at a certain point, and then it really becomes a lot easier. But it started out with organic, where I wasn't paying for that traffic, and it still is. That organic is forever. That's why you should always be doing organic traffic, because it does go forever. You don't have to keep on paying anyone to do it. That's why I kind of harp on passive traffic systems. YouTube is one of them. It's getting more and more competitive, but it's still a good one. But you do have the time. You do have the time. And this is something like if you are helping other people, you can use this in like your health programs. If you're like, I'm selling health programs too, Lauren, but I'm like, no one's buying it because they say they don't have time to do this. They just want to take a pill. Okay. Like you can also use this information to share with them. Does it make sense? So, and another thing is if you don't feel like you have enough time, like I didn't have enough time. That was the exact reason why I had to do this. Like again, I didn't overthink it. I didn't think, what if I did this, 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 this? Like, will my day work out? If I would have done that, I 100% would have told you that there's no way this can work. 100% I would have said, if I would have thought about that, like literally legitimately thought out my entire day and thought about every step that I'm going to do, I would have said, I can't make this work. I don't have the time to make this work. I would have said that. But instead, I just said, how am I going to make it work? I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but I'm going to make it work. There are things in your life that you can cut out. There are things that you can shut down, that you can decrease the time on it. There are ways that you can do that. So the scarcity illusion. The scarcity illusion. So many people don't start because they are, oh my gosh, I've seen it stop people, and it's crazy sauce to me because now like I think so different. We're taught and we're told in this society that what is safe is to get a job from somebody and expect that check to come in every week. We're told that is what is safe and smart. It is a job. It's a just over broke. It'll keep you just where you're at, to where you feel like I'm keeping my head above water. If I do anything else, I might drown. So I might as well just keep on paddling as hard as I can. When it's like there's floaties floating all around you and you won't grab it because you think, well, what if I grab that floaty and it sinks? What if there's a hole in that one and I just can't see it yet? Whenever I grab a hold of it, I'll be able to, but then I will have stopped swimming for a second and I'll drown. In reality, truthfully, you would have gotten yourself a break for a second. You would have learned something and you would have had a little more energy to go forward even further. But our mind will keep us stuck because it wants to keep us, it knows that what we're keeping, our subconscious knows that I'm staying alive doing what I'm doing, even if I'm suffering from it and with it and through it. So we have the scarcity mindset that one, we will never be the person that could actually make sales passively or recurrently, that if it happens once, it's never going to happen again. That's not true. It's just like riding a bike. The first time you ride a bike, it feels like that was probably luck. And I don't know if I can actually do it. Or, like I'm trying to think of something that I've learned more recently, than riding a bike. But I know I've done things, sure. Well, I guess that was a long time for me too. Like college wasn't too long ago, guys, but it was a while back. Things that I've done, I thought, oh my gosh, that was probably just luck and I'll never be able to do it again. And then for whatever reason, that mind-body connection kicks in. You're like, oh, I can do that again. And then you do it again. And then it becomes something that you just do and you don't think about the fact that I can't actually do this. You don't think about the fact of, you don't think about what you used to tell yourself of, I don't know if I can. You just know that I can do it because I keep on doing it. Like, there's no way for me to not keep on doing this because now it's just natural. The same is true with riding a bike. The same is true with anything that you start doing. The same is true whenever you start treating patients. You start doing, stepping out in that world. And I used to feel that way. That like, oh my gosh, I got one sale and I'm never going to get another one. No, you will, because you become that person now. Like, you've transformed yourself and you don't realize it. You are now attracting what you're becoming. You're becoming somebody who's like providing extreme value to somebody. Providing extreme value, right? You're a resource for value. And now you're that person. And what do people do whenever somebody has something of value? They come to you to purchase more. There's no like one thing. Break this mindset of scarcity. Like, one thing I used to think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna like, everyone's like, do the math. I'm like, well, there's so many people in this market, and then so many people are like, there is truth in looking at a market size and those type of things. If you're looking into functional medicine, just trust me, it's not tapped. It is extremely, extremely lucrative right now. But being a functional coach, or practitioner, wherever you're positioning your business from. But the scarcity mindset of, but once I get that one person, like I don't feel able to do it again. Ever felt that way? Because I definitely did starting out. And people will feel that way starting out. And they'll feel like, well, I don't know, like if I can't actually do this because people are going to, like, the well's going to dry up, right? There are every single day more people born, meaning that more people turn from, 30 to 31 or 35 or 40 or 50 or whatever it is. Every single day, somebody else pops up with a new disease. Every single day. There is not a limitation in the people that you can help. You will become that person that helps people at a high level. And that attraction, that equal and opposite attraction, will bring you people who are ready for that and wanting it. 100%. 100%. Because you're becoming somebody different. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. That's why a lot of people actually repel the things in their life that they want really bad, because they're more focused actually on the fear of not getting it than getting it. So that scarcity, or like money, scarcity mindset and money this is the one where, I still sometimes will battle with this. I'm embarrassed to say with tithing. Every time I tithe a really big check, I think, oh my gosh, but what if I don't make that again? And then I've gone through this practice now. Once I start feeling, I say, okay, Lord, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's become better at what we do. Let's help even more people. Let's do this at a higher level. Like, there's no limitations in you. Like, we will sing and we'll be happy and we'll say, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm, louder and louder. You're gonna hear my praises roar from the ashes. Hope will arise. Death is defeated. The King is alive. We'll sing that and we'll be like, yeah, I've got this. Even in the hardest of times, I've got this. I'm going to do this. And then whenever it comes down to it, we're like, oh, but I don't really believe. But that's your actions say. Whenever you do that to yourself, you are also reinstalling the belief of limitations. You're reinstalling that belief that God isn't really going to get you. Think about this way. Have you seen people lose a whole bunch of money and they gain it back? Why? Because that's whenever you really like it's expected. It's like this is going to happen. Like I said, why did I spend $10,000 on a weekend, on a business training weekend? Because I wanted to be able to prove to myself that $10,000 is not that much money. I needed to prove that to myself. I'm going to tell you that one time I actually wrote a check, like somebody said that they lost $4,000 and it devastated them. And I was like, dang, that's not that much money. I'm just going to write them a check. I'm just going to write them a check and give it to them. And I did, and I felt so good. I was like, there you go. And then I instantly, the next day, had a mental hangover, being like, I shouldn't have done that. What if? And the scarcity mindset totally sat in. And what happened after that? Everything started declining. Like, things out of nowhere started declining. Like, things that I didn't even know were going to happen, could happen, popped up, things happened, all those things. What brought me out of that? Like, a question mark. What brought me out of that? Was it just like I just started, like life just turned around? No, I had to invest again. I had to invest and have that mindset of it will come back to me, because it always does. And it will come back in greater fold. So then what did I do? I invested a big chunk and everything turned around. I do not believe for a minute that this was a miracle, that like my business started ticking back up. Sales started coming back in. It was my energy pulling it one direction or the other. And I've seen that in so many different things in life. Now, do bad things still happen or still hang? Of course. Of course they do. But you attract what you are, not what you want. Right? So that scarcity illusion, one like mindset hack that I have for you, that I hope this is helpful. I have these like really old shorts from whenever I cheered at an Orange Bowl or Citrus Bowl, one of the two. I think we were in Florida, Orlando, for All-American cheer in high school. So this was a long time ago. Should I tell you how long ago? Okay, I'll tell you. It was like 20 years ago. God, that sounds so old. Oh my gosh, that sounds so old. And I still have these shorts, and they say halftime on the butt because that was the thing back then, the cute little phrases on the booty. And the softy shorts, if you know what I'm talking about. And I wore them for a really, really long time. And I no longer wear them because I still have them as a memorabilia. But memorabilia, is that correct? I know. The elastic on it has like stretched out. Like the elastic is like, it doesn't go back anymore. And I think about my bank account that same way. For a long time, I cycled saying, I would get like $15,000 and then I'd go back down to 10. And then I'd get $12,000 and I'd go back to 10. And then, let me just back it up for a second. Whenever it first started, it was like, I'll have $1,000 in there, and then it'll go down to nothing. I'll have $1,000 and it'll go down to nothing. That's where it really started, right? But then I started like running my own business and doing my own thing, and I started to go to $10,000, and then, or a little bit more, and then go back down. And sometimes I go to 8 and go back up to 10, right? Go back down, go back up. It would just stay there until I decided that $10,000 was not that much money, and I spent it. And then it came back times 3 because I'd broken through that mindset. Do you see what I'm saying? I 100% believe I think you have to believe, right? You have to have faith, legitimate faith. Faith is not just saying it and singing about it and feeling like it's going to be true. It's actually doing the thing. It's actually doing the thing. I believe in the law of attraction. It is very biblical. I believed in the law of attraction for the longest time, but my human mind that I could co-create with the Lord and that he could bring things to me and bring me out of the situation, but I didn't know how until I opened my own business. I was like, okay, obviously there's now a channel. And it could have happened without that channel, if you will. I definitely believe that the Lord will, 100% will provide. Like if you really needed $100,000, whatever it is, the Lord could just bring that to you. He could bring a messenger. He could bring somebody. But I'll be honest that my human mind couldn't actually truthfully believe that until I opened up a business. And then I decided this is the avenue that he can bring me through this. And then that's what happened. Right. And then it actually became a real thing. And it opened up because I allowed that belief to be true. My human mind needed that to make it true. I hope that can make sense. So that's also kind of a part of the abundance mindset. And I've shared this before and it's really gross. But the other thing is I think about negative things, how they always refill too. Like it's just a natural thing. Like once you've become that person who has that, you will have that. And the gross thing that I think about is blackheads. I think about blackheads because I think it doesn't matter how many times you squish those darn things. I don't do it anymore. When I was in high school, I always did. And they always came back. Always came back. Right. And then they brought friends with. I'm like, this is disgusting. Why are you doing this to me? And I think about that. Like things that are will be. Things that are will be. And whenever you're somebody who has that level. So now, my savings is much more than that. It's been staying around there. And I know I've got to do something big to make it go up to the next. Right. And that comes with tithing. That comes with letting go of that power that money has on your mind. It's just like the woman who didn't have it and much to give. She had nothing to give. And she gave a few pennies. It was more than those who donated, just a little bit because she didn't have that tie onto it. And unfortunately, it is really hard to break that mindset of realizing it. You have to break out of it completely and then you can see it easier. I guess. I don't know how to explain that totally, but I really want that for other people. So that's why I am sharing that. The last and the most dreadful thing that the most dreadful thing that will stop people from growing their own business and their own practice is dun dun dun, the fear of sales. People are so afraid of sales. When your fear of not becoming who it is that you're called to be, when your fear of not having the impact in life that you want to have is greater than your fear of failure, is greater than your fear of other people's opinion, that's when you will have a breakthrough. Many people will never hit that. They just never will. I applaud the people who come to me and they're like, I am so not an extrovert. It's ridiculous. I'm terrified right now, but I'm going to do it. Those are the people that are going to blow your mind. And some of you will look at them and say, I can't believe how shy they are. And they actually did this? And I didn't? Yeah, baby. Yeah. Because I did it. Because they went for it. So we have a fear of sales, of selling to people. Like it's this horrible, sleazy thing. When the reality is, if you do not believe that it is worth, that somebody's life is not worth $6,000, if you believe that their health, their wellness, getting off of medications, spending time with family, being able to be present while they're there, meaning not just feel like burned out on the couch, I can't play with you, I'm too tired, let mommy sit down for a minute, I'm too stressed, I'm too whatever it is, being even in pain and not being able to interact with family. If you truthfully believe that that is not worth, let's say, $6,000 for them to invest in their time, then this is not the place for you. I will tell you that much. But if you know with every being in your body that their life is worth way more than that, and that their money is not that big of a deal, and that their health and their life is a big deal, and if you know and realize that people are dying an early death, if you know and acknowledge that it is important that people are ending up in nursing homes well before their time, they're ending up on medications well before their time, they're not living the life they're called because they're ill, and they shouldn't be. If you know that that is truthfully important, you have work to do. And it is not wrong for you to help that person break the mindset barriers that they have in order to realize that they need to invest in themselves. One thing is very true. People who pay attention. Many of you listening to this now have heard me say that before. It is very true. Many of you, because this podcast is free, or maybe because you don't like the way I talk, or whatever it is, are not listening anymore. But I will tell you that when people pay, they listen. If somebody really wants the outcome in life that they're supposed to get and they invest in that, more often than not, they will show up. I will tell you that it's not always a guarantee and that you still have to help people along the line a lot of the times. It's not like some salesy way where, you're trying to convince people out of their money. You're literally you're allowing them to have an exchange of beliefs that are healthier. If you lead the life that they want, which you should if you're teaching people how in functional medicine to be healthier, if you lead that life, and you don't have to be perfect at it, you can sometimes being a journey with somebody is more impactful than somebody like pulling them along. You know what I'm saying? It's like someone's at the finish line saying, come on, let's go, you can do this, you can do this. Sometimes it's more impactful if you're somebody who's like, I really believe in this and I really want to do it. And then stepping up to the plate and deciding you're going to learn how to do it and then teach others while you're learning, that can be much more impactful than the former. So if that makes sense, I'm not saying that you have to already be there, right? But you do need to be somebody who this actually works, what you teach, and that you actually know that this, what you're teaching can work for other people because you're actually living that life. Because if you're not actually living that life and you're just selling them on a dream, that's not right. But okay, so we are not speaking to that, okay? We're speaking to the fact that if you are like, I know that doing these labs, finding this root cause, getting rid of this overgrowth, getting rid of this parasite, getting rid of whatever it is in your life, and then teaching you how to prevent it from happening again and keeping you on that track and reversing some of, hopefully, the damage that's been done from the inflammation can make their life better. Why would you just have to transfer that belief system to them that this is important. So let me set this out a little bit different for you. For example, if you were to tell me, and there's a post on Instagram that somebody said, would you rather have $1 million A house that self-cleans itself and you never have to clean again. Endless health or endless energy, which would it be? I would 100% rather be healthy and broke as a joke, but feel good about myself, have the energy because you're healthy, right? Like that kind of goes hand in hand. But it would definitely be energy. Like, I mean, I hate feeling tired. I hate that. Money in the house being clean was definitely not high on my list. But my whole point in sharing that is that's why I'm able to help people get healthy because I have such a strong belief in it. Because I know from experience that being unhealthy, in pain, miserable, cranky, hating life, can't eat food because your guts hurt, tired of explaining to people that I can't eat where you want to eat. Like I will go eat somewhere afterwards, but I can't physically eat in this restaurant because they only feed crap that does not help my body and put me in a cycle of IBS pain. I know that that is not, I've already lived that life. I know that there's no amount of money that you could take me back to that. I will be poor and be healthy and be happy, right? I will not live that life and be rich, but miserable in my health. I already know that it's worth millions of dollars. So you're just and I believe that that's the right way to go. I will die on that hill that that is what you should be investing. I mean, obviously, I do believe that your spiritual health is more important than your physical health and all of those things. But from what we're talking about here, right? Like we could go down a whole road on that. But I'm not opening it up for like intellectual debate on what's the most important thing in life. I'm just saying money versus health, right? I'll die on that hill. And will I feel like bad because you are healthy at the end of this? No, I've given you the best gift that you could possibly have. Like you're going to have more time with your children, right? Barring that, something doesn't happen in your life. You're going like an accident, but you're going to have the most valuable thing ever. Like I value your life higher than $6,000. So you have to have the transfer of belief to that individual that what you're doing is going to change their life because you know that it is. I mean, you simply like the sales is not, it's not like a brainwashing thing. It's like showing them that, hey, like, okay, so yes, I do agree that $6,000 is a lot of money. However, like, what is it costing you to stay on this road? Like, what is each day that you're not able to have that energy with your children? What is that worth to you? Like, what price, what cost are you paying realistically to stay on this road? If you do this for the next 100 days, right? And you just step people through, it's just like diagnosing something, right? Most of us here are really familiar with diagnosing. So what you're going to do is first you find out, like, do they think that the program will work, right? Do they find it valuable? And are they in a place where they do want to make that change? If they don't, then you obviously can't help them. It doesn't matter what the price of the program is, and they're not the person you're wanting to work with. You want to work with people who actually want to make a change. You're not here to take somebody's money. You're not here for transactions. You're here for transformation, right? It's not the transaction of the money. It's the transformation that you want for people. So if they don't want the transformation, then that's not your person. Figure that out right off the bat. Whenever you figure out that, okay, like they do want this change. They do have big reasons for making this happen. Family, energy, future, dreams, whatever it is. Then you just have to find out, like, do they believe in you and your program? If they don't, then you just show them, like, the things, like the reason why they think it might not work for them. Be like, cool, totally understand. So-and-so felt the same way. So-and-so got these results still. You just show them that this is the right thing. And that's why I fully believe in our functional program, because it changes lives. It's completely comprehensive. It goes from not just teaching you like the root cause of the disease, but what I believe the real true root cause often is people's mindset, changing that for them so they're able to stay on track for the rest of their life. And like we teach you like the elevated system and everything, so you can make a completely comprehensive program that changes their life. And like, wow, I can totally see why this is worth investing in, right? I can see why this is worth investing in. And they say, no, it's worth it. I just don't know if I don't have the money or whatever it is. You just show them. You show them how this is worth you investing in that. and figure that out. And like our coaches, they do have funders for people. So you can always say like, we can get you down to a low payment. You get paid in full as the coach or practitioner, meaning that you get a $6,000 day handed to you. Obviously you have to like help this person through something, get the results. But that makes it to where like it's literally not a barrier anymore. Like money is not a barrier because you're showing them that, okay, like this $300 a month that you'll pay for, whatever it is, or, smaller programs may be less than that, $100 a month that you're going to pay for something, like, is that not worth sacrificing going out to eat at a restaurant that's probably going to be healthy anyhow, for the next year? Like one time a week or whatever it is, or less than that. Like, is it really not worth that? And they're like, yes, no, it absolutely is. Especially when, like think about how long when you were pregnant, like that actually went fast, right? Like that time's going to go fast. You're going to have this paid off and you're going to have your health for the rest of your life. Like that money is going to be gone no matter what. More than likely, it's going to be gone no matter what. You might as well invest it in something that's going to change your life and pay you dividends in the future. If you have your health, you can figure out how to work harder. You can figure out how to not. I wouldn't recommend anyone work harder, work smarter, but you can show them that value. You're just showing them the value of their health. You're not selling them on you. And the truth is the same of everybody. Everybody is a salesperson. When my husband and I first started dating, I mean, we had to kind of sell each other on that we were the right people, right? That's not a totally good example. Like, people do that. People do court each other. I'm going to be honest. We just kind of like clicked and it was like, whoop, this is this. Like, wow, I found you. Hey, like, glad to finally meet you. Like, I mean, it was like a whole thing. But oftentimes, whenever somebody's new, like even new patient, even, you've got to sell them that you're actually good at what you do for them to come back to your clinic. You are, in fact, selling them. Even though you're not the one charging them and it's the front desk and the money first goes through the organization that you work for, then it comes back to you in a very smaller filtered amount, you're still selling them on that organization. You're still selling them on that building. You're still selling them on you. Like, you are proving that you're the right person. That's all you're doing in sales too. Like, people are so afraid of it. So we went on for about an hour at this point. I didn't expect it to be this long. I hope this was like transformational for you all. But just to recap and to share with you, like, because repetition does build. I'm not going to repeat everything, but I'm saying like just to like nail down the things, because I want you to go through your day and realize that, hey, oh my goodness, I do have this fear of scarcity. Like, catch yourself doing it during the day. I have this fear of scarcity. I just put myself in a scarcity mindset, whether if it's money or if it's with time or whatever it is. Start recognizing when you have those scarcity mindsets. When you start having those time mindsets, or where you are allowing other people to make you believe that your time's only value whenever it's spent making money for them, recognize those. When you've fallen into that trap, pay yourself first when it comes to time. Get your stuff done first when it comes to time. Third thing, if you catch yourself overthinking in anything, one thing that I want to dive into just a little bit here, for just give me 2 more minutes of your time. I've studied rich people like a hawk. I have read almost every book out there whenever it comes to people transforming, like going from like becoming self-made millionaires. And I will tell you that the more I remind myself of these things, the closer and closer I get every single day. One of the things that I've heard repetitively is that people who make a lot of money and have a lot of businesses, they make decisions quickly and they change their mind slowly. People who are paycheck to paycheck, people who stay stuck in a job, people that don't break out of that mindset, they change their mind constantly. They make decisions slowly, but they change off of it quickly. They jump the boat to something else. But they take them forever to make that decision to change. And then they don't actually take action. And then they change onto something else. Don't overthink it. Like, don't be that person that sits there. Practice this. This is homework for you. Practice this. Go to a restaurant and start having Oh, I should make it a whole podcast over this too. Start making values and rules that you live off of. Ray Dalio has a really good book on this. such as these are my rules that I sit down and I make decisions with. Like, for example, when I sit down to eat, I'm like, okay, so my first rule is which macros have I not gotten in yet? If I've had a whole bunch of carbs that day, then I'm going to have a high protein, high veggie, no carb, like bread carb wise. I don't eat bread anymore, but rice or, something like quinoa or whatever. I'll have like no carb, but I'll have high protein, usually high fat, and veggies. That's what I base it off of. That narrows me down to what I want, right? What my body needs. Does my body need something? Has it been unhealthy? Have I been lacking? And, have I not had any salmon here recently and I need more omega-3s? Okay, then I'm going to have the salmon. That's high fat. That's high protein. I'm going to have veggies with it. Make decisions based off of that. Don't make your decisions based off of how you feel all the time. And I know I sound a little bit like judgy in this, but don't make your decisions based on how you feel, because you'll be sitting there forever evaluating all the different things. Is this the outcome that I want? Is this what will get me the outcome? Cool. I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to go for it. And here's the thing. I have never invested in anything other than one mistake that I trusted somebody who was a complete scam. Actually, I've done that twice, but the second one wasn't a scam. It just was not as good as I thought, but I still learned from it. What did I mainly learn from that? That I can make that money back in a second, baby. That it doesn't matter that I blew $30,000 with them. I can make it back. It transforms you. Okay. I still learned from that experience. Everything I have invested in, I have learned from. Have that mindset that I'm going to figure out what it is I'm supposed to learn here. I'm here for this reason. For such a time as this, I'm going to figure out what it is I'm supposed to learn from it. And I don't put expectations on it. I don't overthink it. I just think, I know I'm supposed to be here and learn something. There's something here different than when I started out with that mindset. I need to have a change. Why am I here for this? As long as you believe that everything is happening for you and not to you, promise you're going to be a lot better off in life. And then don't sit there and mule over, the fact that, oh, this isn't what I thought it was, or it wasn't the way that I wanted it, or it would have been better if I did it like this, or da-da-da-da. Quit flooding your mind with that junk. Just literally find out, how am I going to make this work for me? What am I going to learn from this that I didn't know? What am I being taught to think in a different way? And don't buy a book and think, oh my goodness, there's only 2 points that were really good. Think, okay, how are those 2 points going to make me my next $1 million? Overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just freaking do it and learn from it, right? So stop your overthinking. Start making sure, like, write down when you catch yourself overthinking, why you're overthinking, and then move on from it. And then your fear of sales. I hope that helps some on the fear of sales. We could go into that probably should have done that just completely broken out differently, but it's not like you're selling to people. You are just exchanging a better belief system than what they honestly have. You are where they want to be, and you got there because of your mindset, and you're just sharing that mindset with them. That's like, you're finding what will work for them, figuring out the plan for them, and then presenting it to them. And if they don't feel like it's enough worth investing, then you have to share that with them. Like, it is your job to share with them why their life is actually worth this investment. And then know that you are worthy of that too. Know that you're worthy of that too. I've held back my businesses before because of the fear of like self. That's a whole nother story. And we went past over time than what I kind of planned on. But I hope that was helpful for y'all. Challenge for you right now is that if you are doing this, listening to this podcast right now, you're absolutely somebody who wants this, but you need to take action. So I'm going to put in the link. I'm going to put down below in the links, or I'm going to put a link down below of it's free for 7 days. So really you don't get much of a risk on anything. And then it's $17 a month thereafter to stay in our group and to stay connected with people who are on this path with you. Many of them are making the money that you want. Some of them just started like you are today, but it's just $17 a month. And you're going to get like trainings for free on how to start this, build this, functional medicine, business trainings, be able to collaborate with people. And you can start changing your life. I'm also going to add in this free resources for how to structure your day, your mindset. I have a whole bunch of free resources I'm about to add to this group. So by the time you're added in, by the time you hear this podcast, you should be able to access that. So join us in our community. It is the Academy of Functional Health group. Okay. You'll have the link here to be able to join that. And then you'll also get with that. Like I do honest to goodness, incredible business trainings, usually every month or bi-monthly. I'm trying to make it a very serious situation where I do it every single month. You'll get full new trainings on that for $17 a month. I promise you, it'll be the best investment of your life if you stick with it. And you learn the information and implement the information. If you don't implement it, it won't help you very much. Be real with you on it. All right, guys. Thanks for being here with us. I hope this transformed your mindset, your thinking. I hope you're ready to like realize and embrace the belief and the knowing. Like you now believe what we actually know, which is like 1,800 millionaires are made a day. Why not you? Why not you? You can do this too. All right, y'all. Catch you on the flip side.